Hi, I'm Tim, and today I'm going to show you how you can do multiband sidechaining, which is like an advanced sidechaining technique that can really push you on a new level of how you can master your bass and your kick frequencies and can give you some really nice options when you're mixing. Now, you might have seen other people use something like the FabFilter Pro MB or other expensive multiband compression tools, but actually you don't need to buy them. You can actually do multiband sidechaining just inside FL Studio with the free stock plugins, and I'm going to show you how we can do that. So here I have a little example project, just a kick and a snare and a really nice, easy bass patch. Let's listen to it really quickly. Right now there's no sidechaining happening, so let's address this. The routing here is we have like kick and snare going into the master. We have a kick trigger that's going into the sidechain, just sidechaining. The kick trigger is just a really short noise sample that's playing every time the kick is also playing. Let's preview it. Right, just a short step basically for when we want to activate the sidechain. Then we also have a bass page that's also going into this sidechaining channel, and here all the sidechaining magic is going to happen, right? So let's first start maybe with the basic sidechaining. So you might want to use just Fruity Limiter. I have one set up here already. And yeah, it's pretty simple and easy. So we have here the kick trigger fed into the sidechain. We have the compression tab open with a threshold and ratio being set. Let's preview it. You can see we have some ducking, and also you can hear it properly that the whole bass is ducking behind the kick. Let's do a little A/B listening. So maybe you have heard the whole bass is now ducking behind the kick. And this is nice, but sometimes you want to have more options. Sometimes you maybe don't want the whole bass sound to be ducking behind the kick drum, but actually you only want the low frequencies of the bass to kind of duck behind the kick so that you don't have these overlapping low frequencies, which can cause like clarity problems in the mix and the master later on. So you can fix this by doing multiband sidechaining. And this is what we're going to build today, right? We're going to use Patcher, we're going to use Fruity Limiter and the frequency splitter. But let's start from scratch. Let's just add Patcher. You can follow along if you want. Now, this is Patcher. We can start by just putting the input to the output, so nothing will be happening. I will also deactivate all the other effects, so we only have this new Patcher effect in the sidechain channel. Of course, nothing is happening right now. We just have the default sound. So we want to start by adding this Fruity Limiter, which is from here that I showed you earlier. We want to put this inside of Patcher. The way we can do this is you can just click here, save preset as, and drag it into Patcher, and now we have it here. Now we can connect the dots, and now we have to do a little bit of routing because sounds pretty broken, and that's because the sidechain information is missing. The way we do this in Patcher is we right click, inputs, audio, add one. So we have input one now here, and from FL Studio, outputs, audio, kick trigger. Now we have this kick trigger and we can connect it to here. So basically everything that we are sidechaining into this channel, we have here available as audio output options, and we can add the audio routing for just this channel. So if we check here, we have the input one in the sidechain, and it sounds great again. We have the whole bass ducking behind the kick, just like we had it before. But now we want to do the multiband magic. So let's use frequency splitter. So this is a nice real plugin. The way this works, we can feed audio into it and we can get multiple outputs out of it depending on different bands. So in this example, I'm just going to use 2 bands to have it simpler. And what we're going to do is with the routing, we're going to add the low to send 2 and mid and high to send 1. Now we can also here click on outputs, audio, and actually use send 1 and send 2. Really nice. So we have 3 little dots here. How do they work? Well, first, let's not use this for now. Let's use the main audio input, feed it into here, and let's first listen to the main output. Kind of as expected, nothing is happening because, every audio is going in and every audio is going out, so we hear the same. But if we now only use the send 1, only the green band is now being output, so we don't hear any bass frequencies. If we use only the send 2, only the red band is now being output, only the low frequencies. And we can adjust this here. So for example, if I put it up, now we have more mid frequencies in the send 2. But for our case, the default is fine, right? So the trick now is we can now use FruityLimiter on only certain frequency bands that are being output from the frequency splitter. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to remove the main output from the FruityLimiter. We're going to use send2, feed it into FruityLimiter, and now put it into the output. We hear the low frequencies of the bass, and they are being sidechained. But if we now add the send 1 and not put it into limiter, but just here, boom, we have multiband sidechaining. So the bass is ducking, but not the high frequencies. On first glance, it might also, almost sound like there's no sidechaining at all happening because the high frequencies are not ducking. But we can check this really quickly by just adding a low pass filter on the master, which we can also do with frequency splitter. I have it set it up here. So here only this is now being active. So you can hear we have a low pass, the whole master channel. We only hear the low frequencies. And it sounds like it's actually ducking. So if we turn off this patcher we just built, you might hear the difference. To make it more clear, we can up the release time a bit more to make it even more obvious. Do you hear it? With patcher being enabled right now, with the multiband sidechain enabled, the kick is coming through really clearly. Like the thump and the low frequencies of the kick are coming through very clearly because the low frequencies of the bass are going away when the kick is playing. So this definitely works, but if we now listen to everything, the high frequencies stay there, right? So not everything is ducking behind it. It actually sounds like bass and kick are playing at the same time. We just fixed this kind of low frequency problem. If we compare this to the normal sidechaining from before, do you hear it? With the normal sidechaining, everything is ducking, right? And it has this certain sound to it. But with the multiband sidechaining, it sounds like the bass is playing the whole time, right? I'm not saying that one is better than the other. It just really depends on what you want to achieve, right? So oftentimes I would just start with doing like normal sidechaining and not care about the multiband stuff. But maybe later on I figure out, the bass is playing a certain groove, a certain rhythm, and this is now being changed way too much by the sidechaining. So I might go into the multiband sidechaining and say, okay, maybe I only want to duck certain frequencies so that the groove of the bass is like not being changed that much. And you could theoretically, of course, go creative with it. You don't have to only sidechain the low frequencies. If you want, you can also, sidechain the mid frequencies or do whatever you want, right? You can go much more crazy with this. I just wanted to show you the basic techniques of how you can do multiband sidechaining inside of FL Studio without having to purchase expensive plugins, basically. All right, I hope this was helpful for you. If yes, I would really appreciate it if you leave a little comment on this video. If you have further questions, just ask them, or if this was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments. If you also want to see further tutorials, further stuff with multiband effects, let me know. I want to upload new videos every week. Hopefully that works. So yeah, if you want to see all the new tutorials coming up, also consider subscribing to this channel, clicking the little bell notification thing to get all new videos. And yeah, until next time.